here we'll be looking at Road to Edo 2024 amidst, well, some pockets of economic hardship. And to do this, I have with me two gentlemen in the studio. From my far right, I have the former presidential aspirant and also public affairs analyst, Comrade Peter Ame. Very good morning to you.
Good morning, my brother.
Welcome. And I also have just by my side, he is the convener, Refined Edo Political Actors, Dr. Yahaya Garba Hussein. Very good morning and welcome.
Good morning, my brother. Good morning, viewers.
So let me start from you. The election is just by the corner. We have seen both parties inaugurated the governorship campaign council, which of course the PDP did this last week. And of course, we cannot shy away from the fact that the increase in goods and services occasioned by the double barrel policy of this administration is also biting. What do you make of this?
Good morning, viewers. Happy New Month. The truth remains, poverty is one tool the politicians have used against the masses for a long time. So it becomes easy for them to have their way when they throw crumbs at the table. Our fear is this: with the current hardship in Edo State, there's the tendency of people willing to sell their votes to be able to put food on the table. My body, REPA, the Refined Edo Political Actors, we are working hard to educate, let the people know that no matter any amount they sell their votes, it won't take them beyond 2 days. 3 days, 1 week at most. But you are selling that mandate for 4 years. So we should forget the pain of now, persevere, and make sure whoever we are giving our mandate to is somebody who can move us from where we are now to the expected destination. We know that the economy is difficult, times are hard, but Edo people, I must tell you, they are sophisticated people who know what is right and what is wrong. They will not. Yes, now campaigns are going on. All the parties are trying to woo the electorate, making promises, going with souvenirs, going with bags of rice and things. But I tell you the honest truth. The Edo people are sophisticated people, which they are. They already know, they are already assessing, they are already watching all the aspirants the parties have thrown forward. And they are going to settle for that candidate who they believe know them better, know the problems of Edo State, and will take them from point A where they are to point B where they wish to be. We know that the hardship will take a toll on the election, but with the education REPA is carrying out currently, we are going to mitigate that. We are going to nip it. We can't rule it out completely, but we would minimize it to the barest minimum that Edolites will not sell their votes.
We hope that happens, because there's always been a discussion every time election is by the corner. Now let me get to you, Comrade. During the inauguration of the PDP campaign council, one thing that is certain for the national leadership of that party is that Edo will be Lagos, and then two, they were charged to use the current hardship as a campaign tool. Let's get your reaction.
I think for me, for every party in government, the PDP in Edo State cannot exempt themselves from the situation that we are facing in the country, because both at the national they've governed, at the state they've been in charge for quite a while. So up till now, they're the one who are at the saddle of authority. And so what have they done to improve the economic welfare of the people at the local level, at the state level? So you can't just use that "don't be Lagos" as a slogan. The fact is that our people are suffering. The fact is that Nigerians everywhere, including Edo is not an exception, that things are really bad. Inflation is at, food inflation is about 40%. You talk about headline inflation about 34%. So the coming election should be a test for the Edolites to be able to look at which of the candidates present the best policies. Because people no longer read manifestos of political party candidates. People are not interested in what they bring, like my brother said, doctor, that you bring bag of rice, you bring. These are temporary things that does not give I don't even believe in these palliative things that even the federal government is doing, because it has never been self-sustaining for our people. It has never shown that it can improve the welfare for our people. We are Africans and we must have our own model. What are they doing to improve agriculture, to take our people back, to make the farmland secure? Yeah, to make the issue based. Any campaign that is not issue based, that has an attachment to drive it, that means the government has failed. If you're in a government or in a state or federal government, or especially as we are discussing now, Edo to be in particular, and you have been there for 4 years, and you are still campaigning with what you are going to do, or with the kind of bag of rice you will share, then there's a problem, because you should be telling them what you've done. And the people should see what you have done. Not that, what you have done is not something that people will assume. People should be able to see it as physical project, as something that you have done to improve their life. So it will make your campaign less difficult. You shouldn't be campaigning like parties that are just coming up new. You shouldn't be campaigning like parties that just want to be in government new. So for me, all these parties that are in government, they have not really taken the interest of our people at heart. They have not seen that the people at the end of it matters. And my advice is that if the people vote the elections, democracy without election is dead. Democracy and elections you can't separate both of them. They are intertwined. They are weaved together as family. Because without a credible, free and democratic, credible, free and fair election, you cannot have democracy. So without a fair election, no democracy. So what the people should do is to go and make sure that their vote count, to vote for the right candidate of their choice, and a candidate that will have a track record of performance, and that's what matters. So that they don't allow these small things to influence the outcome of the election. Because if he influences the outcome of the election, like he has said it all. And I'm just adding to what he has said. Because one is that pipe and water is on that project. Nigerian government are they are physically lazy, as in physical responsibility lazy. Because they are not really doing anything. They are waiting for FAC, federal allocation, to come. They are not improving domestic investment. They are not helping the people to grow on a base that you now have an economy. They are overtaxing even the local populace. So these are the only two things that people in government know how to do: tax and federal allocation. And if government don't grow like that, government must grow through proper planning, through proper policy that will create enabling environment for business to thrive. If the enabling environment is not there, business will thrive. Both local and foreign investors will come. If there is no security, if there is no good road network, we need to dismantle this old issue of federal government road and all these other things that have made our people life for our people very difficult, very unbearable. I traveled for how they call it the other time to try to come to Benin. I couldn't even get there on time. I missed my flight. But the road is under construction. So the basic thing we must say is that if you are in government, work for the people. Because election is a scorecard. Your scorecard will be presented on election day, and that day will determine, hey, what have you done? What have I done? It is not those who are contesting against you that they are going to present scorecard. Those who will be saying, what have we do? You will say, what have I done? So these are two different things. So Nigerians don't talk of pipe and water anymore. In those days, there was pipe and water everywhere. It was a campaign too. Yeah, government are now talking of boreholes. We should stop these things and have a 10-year minimum plan, development plan that we talk about. Which borehole are we going to do in the Edo North? Which pipe and water construction system, networking of water system that you cannot have, because we can't continue with this little give and take democratic dividends and then decide that our nation is going to prosper or our state will prosper. So what we should do, and now the leader should do, we look at people who have long time in developmental goal for the state. Not this, I give you this, I become governor, but after some time I go, somebody come and give some more. So that's why our growth is very is stunted in a way. It's not really growing the way, the kind of budget we get, the kind of money the state gets, the kind of money the Nigerian entity has. So we must have government that is focused and that the people at the center stage of their policy. It is not me. When you see governors go somewhere and say, I give in a borehole, I give in a road. Who should give who? What do you get the money for? This is public fund. So don't make people feel as if you are doing them a favor. You apply for a job, you are given that job by the people, and your responsibility is to perform for that people. Because if it was a private liability company, limited liability company, you'll be sacked. Even before the next election. Our problem in this country is that we give people jobs and wait in the next election every 4 years. Allow them to spend that 4 years without thinking that we can punish them on election day. So we must now have a way that citizens' advocacy, citizens' interest in governance in between the day the person was elected up to the day to get election, because election itself is a process. It starts from the process the man was sworn in. You look at all the processes, the pre-election matter, during and post-election issues. So we can't get it right if we allow those who are in government take us on the ride every time and we come. But election in Edo has one of the most enlightened voters in Nigeria. I take it to bank. In Nigeria, if not West Africa to say so, because they have always proven their worth. Even when federal government is on one side, they are on the other side. So they have always done that. So they should do it for their own unborn generation. That this election should determine, should be like a specimen for other Nigerians to see that yes, they can determine their own future without interference and without inducement of rights of bag and rights of bag of money.
Now to Doctor, from what we already have heard, of course, from both of you, is the fact that we need to begin to see among the political parties and of course the candidate who we think can deliver the dividend of democracy. What should the people of Edo State be looking out for in this selection process?
Thank you. Like my comrade brother said, any candidate, let me start with, if a man is coming to marry, ask for your daughter's hand in marriage. What are the basic things you look at in that man? Where is this man from? What does he do for a living? Is he worthy in character? Is he a Christian, a Muslim? Does he believe in fairness? Before you not consider having him in. See it clear down to Edo State. You want to give your common patrimony, your government, hand it to somebody. What do you look at? This person that is coming to us, is he one of us? This person coming to say we should hand him our common patrimony to manage. Does he have a character? Will he be accessible when he becomes the governor? Will he listen or accept criticism?
That's key.
Positive criticism. Here, I must say. Once you hand, it's like giving a cup of water to a monkey. It's not a problem. But taking that cup back from that monkey is the problem. So once you hand governance of the state to somebody, and the person starts misbehaving, 4 years is a long time. Like my brother rightly said, Nigerians, we are not docile. We wait for 4 years to take the mandate back. There are recall process to get these people back. So, Edolites, like we all know, sophisticated people, we are already watching the three major aspirants we have, the three major parties, APC, PDP, and the Labour Party.
Let me hold you there. Let's go for a commercial break, and we will come back. We'll continue from where Dr. paused. All right, you're still watching the program this morning on ITV. Before the break, Dr. Hussein was making a point on the three major aspirants, the candidate for the PDP, APC, and of course the Labour Party.
Yeah. Looking at these three candidates they've thrown forward to us, Edolites are going to look at, among the three of them, yes, they are all from Edo State. Who among them have a stake in the state? Because in any business, you don't have a stake, you don't put your best into it. Do you live in Edo State? Do you have properties? You have investment in Edo State? You want Edo State to do well if you have investment in Edo
So
State.
what about the issues? Agriculture development, infrastructure development, education is there. Not everyone can go to private school. You know, private school is in thing now. For those in the state university, what is the possibility that there will be strike? You know, because it's the funding that everyone said, and fact, the revenue gates are widely open. They get packed on a regular basis, but at times, people, schools controlled by the state will say we are downtooling because you are not giving us ABC. So these are things that we should talk about. What should be the first 3 priorities?
Basically, these are the infrastructure in Edo State is almost zero now. And any state without the basic infrastructure cannot attract investors. Even the natives, the indigenes of Edo State, will want to japa, will want to leave the state because there are no good roads, there are no good schools, no hospitals, pipe-on water. Edo State is a state that is good in agriculture. We have arable lands in the north, in the central, and the southern.
But there's no value addition.
No value addition because the government of the day has not paid attention to agriculture. We have the Hood farm in Aginebode closed down because Leventis farm, closed down because there was no government must support even private individuals who want to add value to the state value chain. The state government should give them a nimble environment. Government like my partner rightly said, which you said, every state governor is now relying on allocation coming. IGRO, the only way they can raise money in IGRO is double taxation on the people. And you are killing small scale businesses. So this time around, we should look at those people who among them will give us, improve or add value to our educational system, agricultural system. Security is another major factor. Every day we hear our governors marking so much amount as security votes. That money is not used for anything. It goes to private pockets. Farmer can't go to farm. No, if they use it, it will reflect.
I say something. I know what he's saying. He's looking at
it will reflect. You and I will be able to go to farm.
You're on point.
In my community, for example, we are very good in groundnut farming. Today in Abuja, if you say you want to buy a bottle of groundnut, you ask anybody. Customers will say, Auchi groundnut is what I want. Because Auchi groundnut, people export it. But today, our women and youth cannot go to farm because of insecurity.
Okay, now let me get to Comrade. Your 3 priorities for anyone that the Edolite will give their vote to.
Is security, first of all, because even with the farmland, people are not secure. People are being slaughtered on a daily basis. And it is responsible for the...
But the government has dealt with the issue of insecurity.
They haven't. Most of the cases are underreported. And that's why we are looking at the... You have data that... Yes. I'm telling you, the cases are underreported. So the data is presented to you is based on the underreported cases, on the cases that they were reported. Because I'm telling you what happened in my community, you don't know. I'm telling you, I never saw it in any of the newspapers. People have been kidnapped. People have been slaughtered in their farms. I'm telling you, most of these cases, people have already taken to the faith and say, what can we do? We report them. You have to transport from your local government, from your village to your local government and come back to report. So these are the challenges we are having. The government must make sure that security is taken as very important. Number one. Yes, they should talk about how to tackle security. Yes. How to tackle security. Edo borders a lot of other states, and if we can, give this security in the boy, it will also help to, in positive light, to improve the welfare of other communities around the state. And then 2, they should look at agriculture. It's the easiest way out for Africa. It's the easiest way out for Nigeria. We have arable land, over 40 million, they call it million hectares of arable land in Nigeria. So why do we want to be suffering for nothing? And Edo is, we're talking about production. People are talking about banana from Edo State.
The governor that will emerge should invest in agriculture
massively, because the people, we have the human capital, we have the land.
First time we are told government don't have business in...
No. Anyone who tells the government has business in business, because it's government business to provide an enabling environment for business to thrive. Government have business in business, because if the enabling environment is there, If the proper investment is put in place, if proper support system is given to private investors, then the investors will thrive. They'll pay taxes to government. It's like a chain. You know, you can't take one part of and expect to benefit. And then government should look at infrastructure. When you're looking about infrastructure, look at education. The public school system has collapsed. It is no longer there. You just talk about it. In rural communities, you see somebody opening school and they say it's private school, and then people no longer go to government school. You know, so this is so sad. Then you go to a health. Because without health, I'm telling you, about 11 million children are having stunted health in Nigeria. Yes, it's not really affected by, those in the south are not really as affected as those in northeast and northwest. You know, so the fact is that we look at their health. You know, people should have access to good health services. And then before you look at the other infrastructure. Because if without education now is now even slipping out of the reach of the common man. And there's even segregation in our schools. Because you now have the very poor in one school and the very rich in another school. So this is not what we saw when we were growing up. So the government must focus on the people. The focus of
the candidate. Don't forget, it's about what candidates.
Yes,
the people,
those candidates that are coming in,
how the people,
and the candidates that are canvassing for people's vote today should tell the people how they are going to improve in their life. And the one who is there should tell them what he has done to improve on their welfare and their life in the past 7.5 years. So these are key things that we must discuss.
Sorry if I may come in here. Nigerian politicians are good at talking, saying one thing. When they get into office, they do a different thing.
Yeah, but some still do.
Some still do, but majority of them do not. What Edola should be looking at this time around, among these 3 major aspirants, which among them have done something that looks like wanting to help the people, who is in touch with the people, who are so concerned with the issue of security, who are so concerned in the issue of improving the life of the people in their rural communities. From there you will know this man, without being in government, he was able to do all of this. Now he's going to have all the powers of the office.
So what is the possibility that he will sustain what he has been doing even when he was not in government?
Yes, because it's already there in his DNA to assist the rural community, to help the people, to assist in terms of infrastructure. So now you have an opportunity to do better. Why not? But a man, if any of this, people just believe government is the easiest way of making money.
Yeah, people make money from government.
Yes. Yeah. That's why they want to come into government, not because they want to truly serve the people, but they just want to come and enrich, make more money for themselves. But if you do not have the interest or you do not have the stake in that state, nothing will lure you to want to do more for the people. Today, if you go to Edo State, there is no road in Edo State.
No, there is. There are roads, except the federal roads.
The
federal roads, we are seeing that.
I was in Benin. I was in Benin GRA on Friday, on Thursday last week, and it rained. I couldn't step out of my hotel. I was held back for about 3 hours. Before now, the whole of GRA, even when it rains, you can move freely. Only some pockets of water you will see. But now the entire GRA is submerged. I am telling you, I am not exaggerating. I am telling you, I'm from Edo State. I have it. When we all retire, we like it or not, we will find our state set back to Edo State. So we want a better Edo State. So when we retire, we have something to do. If you see your neighbor eating flies, you say, well, it's not my business, it doesn't concern me. When you start coughing at night, you can't sleep, don't complain. What is happening in Edo State is recipe for insecurity. Today, I'm sorry to say this. In Edo State, the rate of prostitution has gone up because of poverty. The rate of hunger has gone up because of
you need to also get security. You need to get the current figure on that. That has, when it comes to the issue of commercial sex workers, I think it has gone down according to the current data.
You are talking about data. I'm talking about realistic issues on ground.
But we should rely on data.
Data that are factual or data that are concocted.
Data. What do you think any incoming governor can do in terms of internal revenue generation for the state? Because we can't continue to rely on the 2 gates of FAC and tax.
No, tax is still part of it. You know, it's a major thing. But the issue is that it's multiple taxation that we are worried about. That you are not growing the economy of the state.
For example, if you have a governor or an individual, yes, if you have a governor that invests in agricultural value chain, say you convert oranges to orange juice, you have a factory for orange juice. Yes.
That's what we're saying.
Juice, you have a factory.
The government must not be that. Government must not.
Edo Central, it is the base for pineapple.
I know this one.
For fruit,
banana, pineapple, and go.
Can't we have value addition? That's
what we're saying. You know,
and
like you have federal government having 40% stake in some of the major companies you see. I don't want to mention them because I don't want a free advert for this company, these multinationals. So what we are saying is that first of all, government has to provide an environment. It's number one. Then government will now have data and say, you talk about Edo Central just now, talking about pineapple, banana, and all the what is the value chain? Then government will have places that, you know, people, if instead of us, like we used to say, people carry cocoa from here to Netherlands to do all the processing. Why not have a factory within the particular place where this, they call it localization of industry? Then you have that so that you can now produce and then do all the value chain here and then benefit more from the raw material. So the government can do all that, but still government benefit in that higher would be tax, but to avoid multiple taxation, because government is not expanding business scope in the state, but relying on the existing small and medium scale enterprises to tax them and continue to tax those ones without expanding the scope of those to be taxed. So for government to do that, government will look at what he has. If you go to Auchi, like he has said, with the groundnut, what is happening, then you can recreate the groundnut pyramid of the 60s and 70s, and then you look at cassava. What is cassava doing today? Ethanol and all the rest. Cassava is a major how they call it, income generator in the world right now. So you go that, you look at those interests, and then look for partners. Because it is better for private sector partnership, PPP with government, so that government can rest while these private partners manage these companies and then generate income for government. But government can put some substantial amount of investment into it.
So I'll take that as a last word. Let me get the last word in 30 seconds.
My last word is that whoever is coming in as governor of Edo State should be able to tap into these solid minerals which Edo State is blessed with. Like you rightly said, the state government must create an enabling environment for investors, willing investors. I'm not talking about MOU. Willing investors, bringing investors, physical investors, they will come and give them an enabling environment, get all the approval from the federal government to make sure, if you have companies in Edo North, for example, take for example, Dangote Refinery in Ekpe, having over 15,000 employed and indirect labor, over 64,000 indirect labor. If you have such in Edo State, everybody in Edo State will have job to do, insecurity will drop, social vices will drop, and the GDP will go up.
Thank you so much for your time with us on the program. It has been with two gentlemen. From my father, Comrade Peter Ame, is a former presidential aspirant.
Candidate.
Yes, former presidential candidate. I think that again, former candidate. And also with me is Dr. Yahaya Garba Hussein, the convener, the Fine Edo Political Actors. I must thank you both for your time on the show.
Thank you for having me in your program.
Thank you.